Alright, we are going to go ahead and work on some of these scientific notation problems. If you haven't watched the other scientific notation that shows how to actually type them into the calculator, you may want to go back and look over that one, because essentially everything that we're doing on this, we are going to be typing it into the calculator. So I'm be showing you some shortcuts on these to hopefully make your life a little bit easier. But as we go through this, like I said, the majority of it, we're going to just type it in the calculator. It's going to do the work for us. If we are typing it in the calculator, that does mean that you need to make sure that you are typing it in correctly, because if you don't type it in correctly, you're going to come up with the wrong answer. So let's get started with the stuff at the top. Now, most times you would actually go through and you would actually work the questions out first and then try to match it up with the answers up at the top. We're going to shortcut this a little bit. We're going to go ahead and type these in. So 5.29 times 10 raised to the negative 2. I'm going to hit enter. I've got 0.0529. I'm going to go ahead and write that answer out in its standard form. 5.29 times 10 raised to the negative 1. I'll go ahead and tell you this may be a little time consuming, but it's not difficult. 5.29 times 10 raised to the 0, which you should already know is going to stay the same, because that's going to cancel out and give us a 1. Anything times 1 is itself. And then over here we've got 5.29 times 10 raised to the 2. That's going to give us 529. Alright, so now that we've gotten all of our answers placed into our standard form, now we can go back and we can actually work out some of the problems just by typing in the calculator, and then we just have to go through and match them up. So the main thing with this is to be careful with your parentheses. So just go ahead and assume that you do need it and type it in. So we've got 2.3 times 10 raised to the negative 1. I'm going to multiply that by 2.3 times 10 raised to the second. And when I hit enter, it should come up with 52.9. I'm going to scroll across until I find my 52.9 and bubble it in. Okay. Again, essentially you're not really doing any math work on this other than just typing it in the calculator. So we've got 0.23 times parentheses 2.3 times 10 raised to the first. Hit enter. It's going to give us a 5.29, which is going to be our second column. Alright, on the next one, same thing. We're just going to continue to type these in. Parentheses 2.3 times 10 raised to the first, close parentheses, open parentheses, 2.3 times 10 raised to the negative 2. And that we end up with 0.529. So 0.529. Alright. I'm going to try to save a little bit of time, and I'm just going to mark these last ones. That's going to be over here. And that's going to be right there. Alright, but again, take these, type them into your calculator, and just fill in the answers as you go. Alright. Alright, let's look at number 2. It says, which one of the following is equivalent to, and it gives us the problem. So again, we're going to type these in. So I've got parentheses, 7 times 10, rooftop 9, close parentheses, times parentheses, 4 times 10, rooftop 7, close parentheses, hit enter. Should come up with, looks like 2.8 times 10 to the 17th. The calculator's kind of starting to go out on me. So we've got 2.8 times 10 to the 17th. Cut my phone off. Alright, let's look at number 3. We got use the following information for part A and B. Planetary probe is launched and travels 4,800 miles per hour for 25,000 hours. Scientific notation, what is the probe's probable total distance what is the probe's total distance traveled? So in this, we're just going to go through and multiply these numbers, just like if it's repeating over and over again, we have to use multiplication. So 4,800 times 25,000. 1, 2, and a whole bunch of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. So in that case, it's looking like it's going to take us to that amount. Unless you can notice there was a little mistake there. So again, be careful when you're typing these in. I wish I could say that I did that on purpose just so I could show you, but Oops, I just didn't hit that 0 enough times. I thought it looked a little weird. So let's try that again. 4800 times 25, 123. I'm going to blame the calculator. That's what the cool people do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. And now we have 120 million miles. Okay? Alright, so now that we're looking at this one, just like on the previous video, we have to follow all of our rules for scientific notation. So what that means is we're going to start off by putting all of the numbers that are not a 0. There's my 1 and my 2. Everything else is a 0. Alright? The rule for scientific notation says you can only have one number to the left of the decimal. So I've got one number and then my decimal. Alright? We're always going to have times 10. So now I just need to figure out where do I need to put that decimal up here. Well, we just worked it out. We stuck it between the 1 and the 2. So guess what? There it goes between the 1 and the 2. By now, hopefully you know that all whole numbers, the decimal is at the very far end at the right side. And now we're going to count these over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Takes us to 10 to the 8th power. Alright? So in looking at this, we know it's going to be a positive 8 because that number is greater than 1. Alright? If the decimal started out over here and we were having to move it to the right, then we'd have a negative and it would be less than 1. So, the answer is going to be right there. Alright, after traveling for 3,500 additional hours, the probe is destroyed by a meteor, or probe. What is the additional distance in miles that is traveled by the probe? So, we still have our distance that's given, the 3,500. However, our speed is going to be up here. Our speed is going to be up here. So we've got times 4,800. Alright, so we've got 3,500 times 4,800. Enter 168. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. So it's going to end up traveling an additional 16,800,000 miles. Alright? But again, if you look at your answer choices, we need to take it and put it in scientific notation. We can go ahead and rule out these two because they don't have a 1, 6, and 8. They've got a 1, 3, 6, 8, so they got to go. Alright? So, same as before, I'm going to write down all my numbers that are not a 0. So that gives me 168. From this point, I know that I need to have my decimal to the left of one number. So I got one number on the left of the decimal. Need to throw in the times 10, and now I can go back and I can move my decimal. So I know where I'm supposed to move it to because I've labeled it down here. So 1.68. It's a whole number, so my decimal starts on the far right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we end up with 10 to the 7. So that's going to be our answer choice. Alright. Alright, so that takes care of the front side. Aside from mistyping in one number in the calculator, I think we did pretty good. Alright, let's look at number 4. I wish I could tell you that there was an easy way to work this, but unfortunately, we just have to go through all of our answer choices until we find the one that actually works out. Alright, so let's start off with the top one. I'm going parentheses. 3.4 times 10 raised to the 4th, close parentheses, divided by, parentheses, 1.5 times 10 raised to the 6th, close parentheses, hit enter. I get 0.0222, so in no way is that going to be close to 5.1, so that one's out. Alright, let's try B. I've got parentheses, 5.8 times 10 rooftop 5 times, parentheses, 2 times 10 rooftop 3, close parentheses. It's going to give me 116. Those numbers do not match up with 29, so they go away. Alright, so look at C. We've got parentheses, 3.6 times 10 rooftop 7, divided by parentheses, 1.2 times 10 rooftop 2. And hit enter. That's 1, 2. That gives me a 3. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. So we need to start this and turn it into scientific notation. So follow your same rules. Pick the numbers that are not a 0. We only got one of them. We only have one number to the left of the decimal, so that means it's got to be a whole number 3. With any whole number, it starts at the right, and I forgot my times 10. It's So I'm just going to count it over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's got 3 times 10 to the 5th. Looks like a winner to me. So we end up with C as our answer. Alright? Alright, let's look at the next one. Compute 4.5% of 5 times 10 to the 8th. Well, that's nice of them to throw in some percentages on us. So first going to take that 1/2 and change it to a decimal. So I'm going to end up with 4.5%. So I think we've had this conversation in a previous video that whenever you see that percentage sign, as a reminder, you've got 2 zeros there. That means percentages are based on 100. That also helps you to remember you got to move your decimal 2 spots. So what I'm going to do is move it once to the left, add a 0, and move it once more. So my actual percentage, when changed to a decimal, is going to be 0.045. Alright? So now, just like if I were saying 2 times this, all I have to do is multiply it out. So I'm going to say 0.045 times 5 times 10 to the 8th, and I'm going to put that in parentheses. So I've got 0.045 times parentheses 5 times 10 rooftop 8, enter. It's going to give us 225. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of zeros on that one. And actually it's only asking us for the power of 10. So all I have to do is write my exponent. So I'm going to recreate this over here. I'm going to write down my numbers that aren't 0. I got one number to the left of the decimal. My decimal starts off at the very far end, and now I need to move it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that would be times 10 to the 7th. But again, they don't want the whole thing. All they want is that 7. So we're going to drop in that 7. Alright? Look at number 6. We've got the mass of a proton is approximately 1.673 times 10 to the negative 27 kilograms. Mass of an electron is about 9.109 times 10 to the negative 31 kilograms. Which answer is closest to the difference? We'll underline that. Between the mass of a proton and that of an electron. Alright? So if we're looking for the difference, all we're going to end up doing is subtracting. So I'm going to find the one that has the larger value. Negative 27 is larger than negative 31. I'm going to put that one first, hit my minus sign, and then subtract out that one. Alright, so parentheses. 1.673 times 10 raised to the negative 27 minus parentheses 9.109 times 10 raised to the negative 31. I'm going to hit enter. And that's going to give us 1.6720891 times 10 to the negative 27. So in other words, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but if we round it basically to there to match our answer, we do end up with answer choice A. Alright? Alright. On this bottom section down here, I'll tell you what, on this one, to save a little time, I'm just going to circle in the answers. If you want to go back and work it, you can. Just remember, type these in first, just like we did on number 1. It'll tell you what the standard form is, and then you just take these and type them in your calculator exactly like they appear. So your answer choices, let's see, this one's going to go here. The next one's going to go over there. And then my last one's going to go in the middle. Alright? Alright, and then finally number 8, we got which equation is true. So as we take this and work through it, essentially we have to do it like number 4. We just have to work it out until we can figure out which one is true. So we've got parentheses 3.4 times 10 rooftop 4 times parentheses 1.5 times 10 rooftop 6. That is going to give us 5.1 times 10 to the 10th when I type it in. Oh, so we're close. We got the 5.1. Don't have the right exponent. Alright, let's try the next one. We got parentheses 5.8 times 10 raised to the 5th divided by parentheses 2 times 10 raised to the 3rd. Hit enter. We've got 290. So this could work. We got a 2.9, 290. This one to change over. Write down all my numbers that are not a 0. Have one number to the left of the decimal. throw in my times 10, and then how far do I have to move it to go from there, 1, 2, to there. So 10 squared, so B, that's going to be the chosen answer. Alright, so again on scientific notation, just be able to make sure that you can convert it between standard form and scientific notation. And also just remember, make sure you're using a calculator. So if the state tells us that you can use it on the state test, by gosh, we're going to use it on the unit test and everything else we do in class. Alright, just make sure you're typing them in correctly. If you need any help, come and find me. Let me know before you have to do your makeup test, or if you're just watching this video trying to get some extra practice, let me know in class. I'll see what I can do to help you.